Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you haven't caught up with this series or you've been missing episodes, you can watch all previous episodes via the playlist link, which is posted in the description box below. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and jump right into today's episode, which is going to be about book covers. I'm not sure if you've heard the saying to never judge a book by its cover, which pretty much means don't judge something because of its outside appearance, which, so something like what may look like a worn down, raggedy book can actually hold an interesting and engaging story on the inside. So, don't judge it because it's ugly on the outside. You get it. Now, when it comes to these writing platforms like Wattpad and everything else that's out there, in my opinion, appearance is a very important thing that you should definitely take into consideration when launching yourself as an author. I can't stress it enough when I say that yes, book covers can and do make or break you getting noticed on Wattpad. I think so personally, and I say so from experience. Maybe not all of the time, but most of the time. So aside from having a good, great, excellent, catching, engaging, interesting story description, which I'll make a video about how to do, what not to do, how to make one next in the next episode. One of the first things that I personally notice when it comes to reading books on or off Wattpad is the book cover. And before you stress yourself out because you're not a Photoshop pro or whatever, let me just say that your book cover doesn't always have to be super done up and extravagant with all these super cool edits and manipulation. Sometimes minimalist covers can get the job done just as well because less is more on occasion. However, if the book cover is poorly done, has a super blurry image, sloppy text, the coloring is off, it's just overall messy and unattractive, I personally am probably not going to click on that book to open it up and see what it's about. I'm just going to skim right past it and move on to the next one that I see, especially if the book's description was poorly written. Now, I know that it's wrong to judge books by the cover because, like I said earlier, you know what's ugly on the outside might be good on the inside, and you shouldn't judge at all. But there is a but. When you're trying to market yourself or show off your product, catch readers, catch followers, catch a publishing house, then you need for your product to look its best. Wattpad hosts millions of users who read through tons of books, upload tons of books daily. Your book has a chance of being noticed by at least a few hundred people. Don't quote me. By at least a few hundred people per day if you're using the right tags, if your story description is good, if your title is catchy, and if you have a decent book cover. All of those things, I guarantee you'll get at least 5-10 clicks immediately. Well, not immediately, but eventually. So don't let those opportunities slip away from you because out of all the things that you glossed over, your book cover is what ultimately pushed a new reader away. So here's a quick little example. Would you buy a shirt on the hanger in a store that smelled bad, looked worn and torn up and raggedy and holey? No, of course not. Of course not. You're going to keep looking for a better shirt, one without stains, without holes, and all that good stuff. Use the same scenario when it comes to these books on Wattpad. Are you really going to click on a book with a blurry image that you can't see the people, who's on it, what's going on? The text is out of place. The colors are all over. It's just a hot mess. Aside from the story's title and description, the book cover can also give hint to readers or to future readers about what they can possibly expect when they read. So you know how like these fantasy books, they all have this, some book about an apocalypse. It's a girl and the world behind her is all in chaos and flames and things like that. Book covers can tell a story too before people even click on the book and read what it's about. So it's important to give it your best, when making or when you have someone else make your book cover. As for me, I used to visit the multimedia club on Wattpad to get my book covers made by users who were super cool, who were super talented and good with Photoshop. But these days, I don't have the time to do all of that. And so I just recently started getting into making my own book covers, which I wouldn't say they're, Photoshop level, but they're decent in my opinion. And what I use is called Canva, CA. The link will be posted in the description box below. I highly, 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 highly recommend this site because one, it's user friendly. So if you're somebody who used to use PicMonkey, I know recently that they started charging people to even use the site, which sucks, it's so trash. Or, if Photoshop is too intimidating, I highly suggest you all try Canva because it's very user friendly, simple, easy laid out. And it also is very, very, very easy for you to create book covers specifically for Wattpad. They literally have an option where you can select Wattpad for the book format. It'll already have the size requirements ready for you and everything, so you don't gotta type any of that shit in. You're all ready to go. But it also helps you to create other things for, if you're social media and all that, Twitter, Facebook headers, things of that sort. It also provides free images for you to use, as well as some paid content, but the majority of the things are free. You have endless amount of text that you can use. They have pre-made covers that you can use, so you can edit the text and just download the picture and go. Canva is limitless. It really has so many options, and I highly suggest, if you're serious about this writing thing on Wattpad, I highly suggest you sit down for a day, a few hours a day, and just explore Canva and tweak it and, mess with it, play with it, and get good at it. So, to wrap this thing up, because I don't really have much else to talk about here. I mean, just make a good book cover, man. Just get good, alright? So, to wrap things up, please, please, please try your best at creating or getting a decent book cover done for your books, because they will draw in a crowd if it's good enough. Of course, you're always going to have those exceptions where no matter how great your cover is, no matter how great your description is, no matter how great you did at using the appropriate tags for your books, sometimes the readers just aren't going to pour in. Sometimes it's a hit or miss when it comes to posting these books on Wattpad. Not everything that you post is going to be an instant hit. It takes time. It takes time. It takes time. Please have patience. One of the I'm going off on a tangent here. When it comes to being a writer on Wattpad, I found that having patience is so key. Cause you can't expect the numbers and all of that reads, votes, all of that followers to roll in overnight. It's not gonna happen. So please, please, please don't focus on how do I get followers, how do I get votes, how do I get this, how do I get that. When you're just starting out, what your main focus should be is, how do I create the best content for me? How do I perfect my grammar? How do I get better at editing, fixing my punctuation? Focus on that, and then once you eventually get a steady fan base, then worry about the other stuff. These days, I don't think twice about numbers. I used to be hung up on numbers. These days, I don't really care anymore. It's like, so what if this book got 10 reads or 1,000 reads? I like the book. I want to share it with the world. You don't have to like it. I want to put it out there. Somebody's going to like it. At least one person. If one person likes it, then I got to win. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but yeah. That might be a rant. I'm going to start a rant series. I have a whole rant book on Wattpad. I think I'm going to bring that over to my channel because I have so much shit to talk about, honestly. But anyways, don't focus on the numbers, people. Just focus at getting good at your craft, perfecting your craft, and I promise you, everything else will fall into place later. So anyway, to officially wrap things up, please try your best at creating a book cover or reaching out to someone to get a book cover done for you. And that is literally the whole premise, or what word am I trying to use? Point of this video. So that's pretty much it. Now, if you guys have any suggestions for me, for what you like to see me or hear me discuss, since you don't see me, but whatever, you get it. If you have any suggestions for me, please do comment them below, and I will most definitely try my best to make a video about it and give my opinion on it or advice on it. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter, check me out on Wattpad as well, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future, because this series is going to be as long as I can make it, because there's so much that I can tell you about Wattpad. Other than that, I appreciate your support. Don't forget to thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next episode.